Project Compass has developed what we call pathways to workforce recovery in order to help library staff enhance their services to a struggling workforce. This brief video explains how the pathways are structured and how you can use them to take the next steps in providing services and programs at your library. Each pathway is designed as a worksheet that puts the workforce recovery topics into a hands-on, action-oriented format. The pathways function as checklists to prioritize how to move forward with workforce recovery. There are 4 topic pathways. The first online workshop concentrates on the first 2 pathways, core services and services to job seekers. The second online workshop concentrates on the other 2 pathways, small business and entrepreneurs and personal financial skills. We'll take a brief look at the content of all of them. The core services pathway is foundational to the other 3 pathways. It includes some basic actions that are common to all workforce recovery efforts. For instance, connecting with community agencies to be able to direct people to appropriate services beyond the library is something that applies no matter which pathway you're on, as well as providing basic computer skills training, which is key to job seekers, entrepreneurs, and pretty much everyone who wants to succeed in the 21st century. It covers best practices and strategies for building partnerships to augment the library's offerings, and strategies for marketing and communicating library services. The Job Seekers Pathway more specifically addresses the needs of people actively looking for work and relying on their public library for this support. It covers understanding the needs of unemployed workers in your community, connecting job seekers to useful resources, providing programs and training, and building partnerships, especially with workforce development agencies. The Small Business and Entrepreneurs Pathway explores the variety of ways that libraries can support small and local business growth. Small business stimulates the local economy, providing 60 to 80% of new jobs in this country. The library can play a key role by understanding how small business builds local economies, connecting patrons with resources for small business, and providing training and programs to support entrepreneurs and small business. The Personal Financial Skills Pathway looks at the bigger picture of how the library can help patrons impacted by a continued weak economy. Although it may not lead directly to a job, it is a path that can increase self-reliance and restore a patron's feeling of being in control. It includes understanding the impact of the economic downturn on personal financial stability and providing resources, training, and programming on applying for social services, refinancing a mortgage, getting out of debt, and much more. Each pathway has the same 5 components, or goals. The Discovery and Assessment goal is about understanding the top needs of your community in order to develop the appropriate workforce recovery response. The Collections goal helps you build a collection of relevant resources, bibliographies, and pathfinders. Training and Programming suggests face-to-face or online programs and training that connect patrons to new ideas, skills, and opportunities that can improve their economic situation. Collaboration looks at ways to build relationships and collaborate with community-based agencies to extend your workforce recovery services. Communication is about how you promote the services offered through your library and how you communicate their value to the community. So let's walk through a pathway to see how it functions as a checklist and action finder. We're looking at the small business pathway, but you will find that all 4 pathways have the same structure and the same pattern of use. The pathway is not intended to be linear. You can start at any point depending on where you want to focus your efforts. However, no matter where you start, you will see that the components or goals are all intertwined and integrated. For this pathway, let's look at the discovery and assessment component, which is where you would focus if you want to learn more about the needs of your community, how libraries can support patrons along this pathway, in this case, how to support small business development, and what local, state, or national agencies are available to provide additional support. The guiding question helps walk through the array of possible actions. And the checklist format allows you to see where you can focus your activities. If you're already doing an item, check it off and move to the next area. If not, you may decide it's not an important action for your library and just leave it. Or you can circle an item as a priority for taking action. The circled items in this checklist will stand out as the things for you to focus on. For the circled items, then, look in the right column at the resources, which are there to help you take action. These include ideas, webinar archives, videos, case studies, examples of how other libraries have done something similar, templates and lesson plans, and just generally lots of resources to really help you take those next steps. And then in each pathway, consider how these actions integrate with the other components or goals. For instance, collaborating with partners is part of understanding how you can deliver programs and how you can meet the needs of your community, and communicating the value of how you're meeting these needs to stakeholders in your community. So let's skip down in this pathway to another component, the training and programming section. You would focus here to identify available self-paced training resources for patrons following this pathway, in this case online training for starting and sustaining small business, and to identify programs and classes your library could offer to build patrons' skills and knowledge. It's likely that training and programming will be a high priority for many of you. So even if you or your library are already doing some of these things, think about trying something new or trying a different approach to an existing effort. The training and programming set of actions are the most heavily integrated with all the other approaches in the pathway. In order to deliver effective programming, you need to know what the community needs are. You need a collection to back up your offerings. You have many opportunities to find partners to collaborate for training and programming, and it's very important to be able to communicate what you're doing to the community. And as you go through the pathways and identify actions to take, keep that 21st century skills framework in mind. Think about how you can select materials or present programs that will promote the development of those skills. How can you stimulate an excitement for lifelong learning in your patrons? The 21st century learner cannot rely on following one trade or career because they will see such significant change within their field in the course of their work life. If they don't develop learning skills, they will not be able to keep up with the changes. They must learn to be flexible and adaptable to those changes, work as teams to solve problems, develop technology literacy and media literacy, and be globally aware to work seamlessly with other cultures.